Hello, I am back with another little yoga top-up sip to just fill your own cup. And I want to just point out that my style of yoga is very amalgamated from many styles that I've studied over the years. And I loved one of my clients called it Cinderlini. I'm Cindy, if you didn't already know that. I'm Cindy, and I did Hatha and Kundalini and Vinyasa and various other studies, and typical Gemini that I am. I kind of bring in all the different tools that kind of work and flow with me, as well as the fact that I am a healer, channeler, astrologer, big moon enthusiast. So all of these tools, crystals, etc., all come into play within these sessions so that you end up learning how to take the things that work for you and build them into a practice and process that is holistic for you. So I'm kind of unable to just stick to one thing. I couldn't be purist about any one thing because I kind of always feel like one thing leads into another, and that is my process and that is my flow, and that is how I teach. This little sequence I just want to do with you is just a very simple, short, few exercises to bring us into our body, which is always important, to embody whatever's going on, to check in so that we have that time to go, how am I feeling? What am I needing? What is my body saying to me? Because if we haven't had a good relationship with our body for most of our lives, and then suddenly we're wondering why our body is not doing for us what we wanted to, then it actually takes a bit of time and trust to develop the relationship with your body, that your body will be open and honest with you, and also that you know how to hear what your body is telling you. And so I really like to bring those kind of embodied things in. So we are going to just begin. Let me scooch back here as much as I can so you can see my toes. We're going to begin the sequence in Dandasana, and obviously we're just doing short snips of classes here, so you feel how they work for you. The spinal warm-up, which is the first thing I put up, is always wonderful to do and would be a great prelude to any of these sips. But I want you to just start by feeling into your sit bones. Actually rock onto them. Let them get a little thump, 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 thump. And then do the same with your heels. Flexed feet, toes to the heavens, thump, thump, thump. And then relax them, but don't let your feet flop because that destabilizes the pelvis. So we're going to have our hands in what's called bunches of flowers, little cups. And take a moment to do a few deep breaths and just observe your body. Observe if one leg feels longer. Observe if one leg wants to flop out more than the other, or in more than the other, whatever it is. Notice if you have a bit of a twist or twist that way in your shoulders. I'm obviously exaggerating it. Notice if it's really hard for you to keep your spine elongated and erect. Notice if you're sticking your chin out and draw it gently to attention. And then once you have a sense of how you feel in this pose right now without judgment, just observing yourself, being interested and curious, I want you to bring up your arms. Tops of the shoulders are down, chin is engaged, and also core. So think about pulling your pubic bone up to your belly button and your belly button back to your spine. And we're going to reach into the digits and scrunch, yoga fist. So you put your thumb inside your fingers and wrap. Not a boxer's fist. We're pacifists, not, well, sometimes we have to fight for what we believe in, but this is not about punching. So you want to make sure to get those digits moving, to move, and if they snap and pop, that's just healthy moving of gases. Okay, now we're going to point and flex, getting right into those wrists and ankles. Again, the odd snap and pop, especially when you first begin any one of these exercises, is great. But if every time you do it, you're getting this like clunk, clunk, then we have to rethink. Okay, let's do yoga fists, and we're going to circle all of them inwards. Because if you're clunking and grinding, something's not working, you may need to adjust, make your circle bigger, smaller, slower, faster, usually reverse, so all going outward. This does require some brain coordination, which we love. Breathing into it, feeling into those joints. Come to center, and we're going to make them all go clockwise. Now you have to think again, let your brain cross over. And anti-clockwise. And then just root those heels, toes to the heavens. Shake out your hands and come back into bunch. You can flick as well if you like. Back into bunches of flowers and take a moment here. Breathing and present, feel the energy through your hands and notice how far is that energy traveling up your arm. Same with your feet. You have moved the energy through these very pivotal parts of our body. Our feet carry us everywhere. Our hands, they are so engaged in our every activity just about through the day. So feel the energy moving, flowing. This is great for any of us, but if you do have tension from being on a computer a lot or arthritis or anything, these are really important. Now we're going to come to sit with our legs nice and wide. So I want you to open as wide as you can get, and I want you to actually put your cheeks out so that you're on your sit bones. And just like we did earlier, I want you to just go sit bone, sit bone, sit bone, sit bone. Feel yourself. Connect to your body, connect to the earth. And that little thumping, we're going to do the same with our heels. That little thumping actually helps to consolidate our bones, so really good for bone density. Then root the heels, toes to the heavens, hands in bunches of flowers. And again, what is easy for me to do? And what is not. So watch if your feet are trying to flop inside or outside. For me, the natural flop is in if I'm not paying attention. And I really want you to look at your pelvis here. So we have two predispositions. One is to stick our tails out like a waggly pup. And for those of us, including myself, who that is the predisposition of, that's the pleaser in us, who's like, fine, no problem. What do you need? Wagging our tails. If that's your case, try to think of that tailbone and drop it down like a taproot. So there's a bit of a drop in. If on the other hand, you're the other way where your pelvis tilts under and you tend to tuck under, think of that cowardly pup who's very fearful and tucks the tail under. And if that's your predisposition, we all have a predisposition, so you can't get away from it. Then think about taking the pelvis slightly back, but the tailbone goes down like a taproot. So you don't want to overcompensate. You don't want to go from a waggy pup to a tucked tail or vice versa. So then again, just feel that. Now you've got your sit bones rooted and your tailbone dropped in and your heels are rooted and the whole back of your leg is engaged. Hands and bunches of flowers, beautiful. Elongation through your spine, open through your chest and shoulders, chin engaged. None of this. We also have that predisposition to jut, that's mine, or to hang back and roll the chins. Either way, whatever is yours, it's about checking in with yourself, not judging yourself, but rather going, oh yes, I see me in that. And now we've just had some time to sit in wide angle, we've settled into it, we're going to work dynamically with our breath. Inhale to the center, exhale to the side, in and out. And if you can get further, that's fine. But what you're not doing is dragging yourself. It's very organic, very flowing, just ebb and flow. In and out, in and out. And here again, I want you not to do it in my rhythm, to do it in yours. The rhythm can vary from person to person. We have our natural rhythm, and also on any given day. For example, at the yin phases of the moon, we may, or during one's moon cycle, menstrual cycle, we may feel like going slower than we might during a full moon, or whatever the case may be. So I'm just going to demonstrate some different rhythms, but you're not doing mine, you're falling into yours. As long as the breath works with the rhythm. So you want to go faster, you breathe faster. Listening. Want to go slower, you're going to breathe slower. So for me, generally, I have a bit of a mid-range one, and I like to let my breath rhythm, if I'm unsure, guide my body rhythm. But trust what you need. Come back to center, palms up in bunches of flowers, or you can take Gyan Mudra, see what you like. This bunches of flowers is a very receptive mudra. It helps us to be open to receive our guidance, our abundance, our messages. Gyan Mudra helps us to really go inward and tap into that meditative space. They're both beautiful and they are the two that probably in my little yoga videos you will see used the most. How are you feeling? And think about posturally when you first came to this pose, where the discomfort was. Is it still as uncomfortable? Has it shifted? Does it feel worse? Does it feel better? Don't judge what you're experiencing. Just be honest about what you're experiencing in your body. And remember that time and practice makes all the difference. Now we're going to bring our souls together. So, and depending where you get to, you can have your feet further away, you can have your feet closer together. It's not about what a yogi should be doing. It's about what your body is allowing you to do. And as I said, it's so important for us to embody this stuff. Naturally, many of us in this society, myself included, are kind of up and out people. We're all up in our heads. For us to come back down into our body takes a bit of practice and effort. If you're luckily an embodied kind of person, that's wonderful. But what we're going to do is we're going to just activate with a little bit of touch healing, a little bit of loving. And you're just rubbing onto those legs. Now, if there's one space where you go, wow, this knee is a bit sore, and you may want to spend a little extra time there, that's fine. Or wherever it is in your body. But ultimately, as you bring your hands, the first form of healing, every mother, when you ran up as a small child to your mother or your grandmother or your father, you know, when you were little and you'd hurt your knee or whatever it was, the first thing they did was giving it a little love, a little rub. So think about that as you relax. And also while we're doing this, we're gently, without force, we're gently opening those thighs, the groin, the hips, without it being very overt. We're kind of allowing ourselves to open and unfold through some loving touch. Because what happens when we're tense is we contract, or when somebody tries to force us, we contract, and we force ourselves to do things all the time. So I want you to have that sense of, okay, I've got this, so that you want to relax deeply into the hips, the groin, etc. Now, we're going to hold on wherever you're comfortable. So you can hold the ankles, you can hold the feet, but don't hold the feet if it makes you collapse forward. Hold the shins wherever you're comfortable, okay? I actually am seeing where I'm comfortable today. Today I'm comfortable in my ankles. So you're going to get into a little bounce. And you're going to really relax the jaw. The jaw and the groin are very connected. And this has to do in astrology. We can see it in the Taurus-Scorpio axis. And in our bodies, it's just inextricably linked. The beginning of our digestive system, basically, and the end of the digestive system. So when we're working to relax our groin and hips, you have to keep that jaw relaxed. And if you notice that you're doing this and you're doing this, you're inhibiting the release through the groin. So we're not doing it with anything other than a slow, relaxed breathing and a mindfulness of relaxing the hips, the jaw, the groin. And then we're going to drop that bounce, holding on wherever you're comfortable. Make your spine super long and elongated. Drop into your sit bones and your tailbone. Inhale. As you exhale, draw yourself forward from the heart at the hip hinge. Draw yourself forward and then get where you get. You can then place your hands. This pulling yourself forward helps you to get the elongation, but then you can put your hands wherever and however they're comfortable, and I want you to try and relax. Now, I know that when yoga teachers say get into this pose and then relax there, and it's not an easy or comfortable pose for a person, the idea of relaxing there seems ludicrous. But I want you to breathe and observe your body. Where is the resistance? Where is the stress? Where is the pain? Where is the discomfort? Where is the tightness? And even get discerning with yourself. What is it? Is it a dull ache? Is it a sharp shooting pain? Is it a heat? Is it a numbness? Be curious and interested. This is you developing a narrative and dialogue with your own body. Each of those pains or types of sensation will give you a different clue as to what you're holding there. What are you numbing out? What are you inflamed about? Thinking about it in those terms. And that also distracts you from the fact that you're holding this forward fold, observing without judgment, and letting yourself get deeper into the pose, which doesn't always mean that your body moves deeper. Oftentimes, it just means that you're moving deeper emotionally, you're moving deeper intellectually. However you're moving deeper, you are moving deeper if you are in this pose mindfully, observing. And you're going to come back up on the in-breath, sit for a moment, and feel yourself in this pose. Think when we first came here, when we started touching and loving up on ourselves. And how do you feel now? What is your tailbone doing? Is it tucking or wagging? What's happening with your jaw, your hips, your groin? How is your spine? Just observing yourself here. And then coming back into Burmese pose. So we just bring our legs into left leg inside, right leg in front. And take a moment here. So there's a little less pull in the groin. How does that feel? How's that tailbone? And any of the places that showed up strong for you, just take a moment to notice them. And bringing your hands in, deep gratitude. Namaste. Thank you for watching, and I hope this was helpful for you. Please like, share, follow, subscribe, all of those things if you have liked this. And I am planning to do a series on moon phase yoga classes that will, at some point, when I get there, be available on my website. So thank you again for watching. Have a beautiful day. I hope you're well topped up.